So it was revealed in the Epstein files we covered a while back that there was a tip that was sent in, and someone said that they were drugged. They woke up. They believed they were assaulted. And when they awoke, they said that they allegedly saw Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein. Now, we don't know if it's true or not. This was a tip that was sent in. But what bothered me was that some people were like, there's no way Jay-Z could have known Harvey Weinstein at that time. His album Reasonable Doubt came out in 1996. He could have never known Harvey Weinstein. And, I was going to move on from this, but it was just so much of that coming out on social media. And I really had to take a step back and say, what is this really all about? So I started to dig and I found some things. So get ready to have some reasonable doubt, because I think a lot of people assume that Jay-Z's relationship with Harvey Weinstein started off a lot later on. That's actually not true. There are literally pictures and videos out here with Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein, and you got people on social media saying he never even knew him. Well, no, he definitely knew him. I mean, these are the more kind of recent ones, but I'm going to take you back. We are going on a journey, and I'm going to show you that he did know him, and you'll see why. Here he is with Harvey Weinstein at a function here. So this is pre-dreads, pre-locks Jay-Z. So this was years ago, right? Jay-Z's had those locks for a couple of years now. You're the only one who ever yelled at me, by the way, and I take it any time from you. I want to see him get it too. Now it is alleged that Harvey Weinstein may have functioned as Jay-Z's handler. I don't know for certain, but I do know some things that I can show you that I found very interesting. This was an interview from Democracy Now! They were interviewing Jay-Z at this time in 2017. And I want you guys to pay close attention to this. They are asking him about mass incarceration and Donald Trump, because this was around the time, if I remember correctly, I think this was around the time when Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein were doing the docu-series about Khalif Browder. And that does involve mass incarceration. So it makes sense that they would ask that question. And Trump was the president at the time. Watch this behavior.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
Watch it again. Play close attention. Watch how uncomfortable he gets when she mentions Trump's name. Watch.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for
Not going to answer that. Why?
What it means for mass incarceration.
He looks to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein then jumps in to answer for Jay-Z, almost like a handler. Jay-Z's a grown man. I mean, you just made this docuseries about mass incarceration. Donald Trump was president at that time, so I get why she asked that question. You can't answer it. The moment she said Donald Trump's name, he looked so nervous. Why? So Harvey Weinstein comes in just like a handler. Watch.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Oh, okay. A labor of love for Jay, and he's my friend. So for the people online who were saying that it was just business, here is Harvey Weinstein saying that Jay-Z was his friend. They were friends. It was not just a business relationship. Why couldn't they answer the question about Trump? I thought that was probably an easy question. That should have been a layup for him. Even if you don't want to get political, you could say, well, actually, I would like to talk to the president about that. I don't know. I just felt like that would have been an easy way to answer that question. But look at the expression on Jay-Z's face. Looks very uncomfortable. Harvey Weinstein is not his daddy, but he comes in like a handler. At that point, Jay-Z is a grown-ass man. And there's all these people online just saying, no, he didn't have any type of relationship with Harvey Weinstein. No, oh my God. He's only with them here. Again, these are pre-dreads, right? But it goes back even further. So people ask me and they say, do you believe that Jay-Z knew Harvey Weinstein in the 90s? Yes. And I'm going to show you how he knew him. Everyone keeps pointing to that album Reasonable Doubt, and they say that album came out in 1996. All right, cool. We have to remember that when we are first introduced to an artist or even an actor, we usually discover them when they get their big break. Sometimes it takes years for them to get to that point, and they've already been making music or having small acting gigs years prior to that. The band No Doubt said that they were a band for 8 years before they got a record deal. Did you know that? Most of us don't know until they get discovered. A lot of people didn't hear about Britney Spears until she came out with her solo album, but Britney Spears was on the Mickey Mouse Club when she was a kid. So let me show you how far back it goes. We're going to go back in time. There was a movie in 2000. It was a documentary called Backstage. I want to show you something. Backstage is a 2000 American documentary filmed by Chris Fiore, chronicling 1999 Hard Knock Life tour that featured several of hip hop top acts, including Jay-Z, DMX, Method Man, and Redman. This is back when Method Man and Redman were rocking the boat. They were cool back then. I used to love Method Man and Redman. I came to bring the pain. Anywho, it was produced by Damon Dash. Backstage featured live performances by several members of Def Jam's roster and gave an in-depth look at what happened backstage. Now check this out. Peep this, fam. Originally, it was scheduled for a fall 1999 release, but it was released in September of 2000. Why is this important? Well, let's see who made this movie. Dimension Films. Oh dear, let's look at Dimension Films. Dimension Films. This was an American independent film production and distribution label founded in 1992, formerly a brand of one of the American mini majors, the Weinstein Company. Goes on to say here, Dimension Films was used as Harvey and Bob Weinstein's label within the brothers' own Miramax Film. So let's go back, okay? Who made this film, Backstage, in 2000? This documentary that featured Jay-Z. Dimension Films. Who owns Dimension Films or owned Dimension Films? We'll get into that transition later. Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein. In fact, if you get a close-up of the picture here, this is I had to blow this up because it's so small. This is the movie poster. But if you blow up the movie poster, their names are right here. Bob Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein. So if we know that this documentary was scheduled for release in 1999, but it was released in 2000, If it was scheduled for release in 1999, we know they at least knew each other in 1999. And docuseries, sometimes like documentaries and stuff, sometimes it can take years to make. Sometimes, you can do it quickly. I was able to do mine rather quickly because I kind of had to do it quickly because it had a timeline to it, right? Mine involved also an election deadline. So I had to move quickly. But this could have taken a year, 2 years, you never know. But you at least know that they knew each other in 1999. Let's go back further. Just want to remind you, there was another one. It was called Rhyme and Reason, another documentary. And who was this here? That's Jay-Z. This is way back in the day. And you'll see here, under the picture, a young Jay-Z in the studio, not a household name yet. Nevertheless, he exuded a vibe and urgency that you knew this gifted artist was going to soon take off. In the mid-1990s, Peter Spearer set out to capture the vibrant hip-hop scene at a pivotal moment. Over 3 years, the filmmaker interviewed and photographed over 80 hip-hop pioneers. This included KRS-One, Dr. Dre, Chuck D, Tupac, Salt and Pepper, Curtis Blow. The list goes on and on and on. What a lot of people forget is that Jay-Z started off as a DJ. He wasn't a rapper in the beginning. So Jay-Z was still in the studio. So the documentary Rhyme and Reason, if we go to this one here, again, this was made by Peter Spearer. This documentary was published in 1997. So now we're going back further. Let's see who made this documentary. Rhyme and Reason. Let's go on. Miramax Films, which we now know also, as it says here, it was founded by Harvey and Bob Weinstein. The point that I'm trying to make is this, ladies and gentlemen. Now that was published 1997. So now we know they at least knew each other by 1997. If we had to make a guess, at least by 1997. Could have been before that. We don't know how long it took them to make this documentary. So now this is important because let me go to this part here. People keep asking about this timeline. Let's go back a little bit further. Let's go back to London. Did you know that Jay-Z was also doing music in London in the 80s? We go back here. It all starts with a gentleman by the name of Jaz-O. See, it was Jaz-O and it was Jay-Z. Jaz-O was the rapper. He basically says that he taught Jay-Z everything that he knows about hip hop and the style to rap. And like I said, Jay-Z was originally the DJ, kind of like Will Smith. Remember the Fresh Prince? DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So Jazz was the DJ and Will Smith was the rapper. That was more common back then. But it said here, the boys are back in business, but here's what you should know about their questionable past. So at some point, I think it was 2019, they decided to put all this aside because they had a falling out, as things do. So let's go to London. In 1989, as part of his EMI deal, Jazz went on a trip to London to record his new album. So we're talking about Jaz-O. Jay made the trip along with a young Irv Gotti, narrowly avoiding a federal raid back in the United States, which he says would have prematurely ended his rap dreams without a reasonable doubt. Up until that London trip, my life could be mapped with a triangle: Brooklyn, Washington Heights, Trenton. Jay wrote in Decoded. Jazz's deal fizzled, but Jay used the experience as a lesson about how ruthless the industry is to artists. So for the people online who were saying his first album didn't drop until 1996, Jay-Z was in the studio working with music going all the way back to the 80s. So there was a video that went viral of a woman had an interview and she said, yeah, I met Jay-Z in London back in the 80s. And the person interviewing her said, Jay-Z was in London? She was like, yeah, he was in the studio. So you can't time someone's start based off of when their first album or their first movie drops. People, a lot of times they're working on this stuff for years. Okay. Jaz-O had a falling out with Jay-Z. Again, he says he taught Jay-Z what he knows. He taught him the rap game and all that kind of stuff. And from what he said, Jay-Z kind of went his own way. You know, I guess maybe it was an ego thing, but just kind of forgot about him. Long story short. Now, years ago, let me show you what Jaz-O said. This video was uploaded 16 years ago. It's very short. Watch this.
J Beans? J and Beans? Yeah. Yo, all that's eventual. All I gotta tell y'all is I told y'all in 2002, and y'all ain't believe me. I told y'all that nigga was a crab, and y'all ain't believe me. You know what I'm saying? How many accounts gotta come up? Dane, Biggs, R. Kelly, Kiss, Beans. I mean, the list go on. That nigga's a crab. It ain't no hate involved, but you know, you gonna see. Still biting my step. Jaz-O's the best. Secret Society with Jay-Z, man. He's involved, but he's involved with this shit, man. He involved with that play shit. Like, see, people don't understand the science behind Satan, Lucifer, and God.
Did you see what he did with his hand? You see what he did with his hands, what he said he was involved with? Again, this guy knows him. They go way back. They've known each other since they were kids.
And if you notice, he calls himself Jehovah or Hove. And before they started retranslating, you know, the New American version of the Bible, you know, Jehovah was known as a jealous God in the Bible. But I'm gonna give people the simple and general overstanding that all of those people, many of those prophets in the Bible, and even when you talk about these different deities in the Bible, they were not people. Even when you go into the Egyptian pantheon, like, they weren't people. But as far as Homeboy, like, it's really a bunch of Masons. See, the whole Freemason thing is based on a lower level of understanding. Like, the real secrets have never been revealed. They weren't supposed to be revealed. So all these people, they walking around like they know something for real, but they don't really know shit. You know, and he doing those little signs and all of that. Those are symbols that have been out there. They've been propagating them shits for a few thousand years. But number one, anybody who knows how magic knows that those shits don't have any power anymore. Number two, you know, everybody knows what they basically mean, like the understanding of it, like, you know, as far as pyramid and stuff like that I'm not really gonna go into. But I'm saying that simply to say that dude think he knows shit, but he still don't know shit. He could get as many degrees as he want, but it's just like trying to get all degrees you want, but you still got a ceiling. He can't go but so high because the people that he worshiping, that he kissing their ass and letting them fill him up and shit, they don't know shit. They trying to find out every day from us. That's why they follow hip hop. That's why.
So yes, Moni Love. Thank you, Miles. Moni Love was in London. So you need to hear it from someone other than Jaguar Wright, because everybody's like, well, Jaguar is crazy or whatever. I've heard people say that, but this is someone who grew up with him. So yes, Jay-Z's a billionaire, but Jay-Z also has a boss. And based on what I saw from that interview that was there, it almost seemed like Harvey Weinstein was kind of like his handler, the way he stepped in like that. Now, Harvey's in jail now, right? And what is interesting to me is that so many people want to come to his defense, but I mean, what is Jay-Z doing for the Black community? Because what about the people that were displaced because of the Barclays? They used Jay-Z's face so that the neighborhood, the people would get behind it. And I want you to hear from the people who were like, no, this was straight up displacement, and they used his face to sell it. When I first heard about this, I thought that Jay-Z was buying a basketball team, but that was not the case. Listen to this.
The Barclays deal was one of the most horrible deals ever done, especially in sports. They played Jay-Z like a fiddle. They played the community like a fiddle.
At the end of the day, when the stuffy businessmen were like, how can we gain momentum in terms of gaining public support behind this? Who's the person that are we going to reach out to? Robert De Niro? Are we going to reach? No, we got to get Jay-Z.
They put him on a big billboard in Times Square as an owner of the team. And a lot of people really thought that he was actually the owner of the team.
They would not have been able to sail through, those that own the majority part of the Nets, all of the issues that had to do with zoning and rezoning, etc., without having someone like a Jay-Z involved.
I think it's a case of Jay-Z pimping corporate America as much as corporate America is pimping Jay-Z.
Politics is a messy business, and local politics might be messier than national politics. So for Jay to have discovered this in the course of pursuing this professional basketball team for Brooklyn, what did he expect?
I am one of the people who was affected by Barclays. We didn't even know that it was going to be related to Jay-Z or called Barclays or anything. We just were told that we would need to move. Like, we knew.
They were told that they would need to move. That is displacement and gentrification that came in. And Jay-Z backed it all the way. And an entire community of people were displaced. And this is what I'm talking about. And by the way, if you were one of those people and you ever want to come on, please email me. My email address is in the description part of my videos. Email me. I'll bring you on the show, because one of the things I'm really against is displacement. You guys can see I have a whole documentary about this. So the thing is this. When it came down to helping the Black community, I mean, really helping the Black community, Jay-Z chose corporate America. Jay-Z looked out for himself. And if you seem to have some type of idol or worship or obsession with Jay-Z, I don't really know what to tell you. I'm not here to tell you you have to hate Jay-Z. What I am here to tell you is that he's not perfect, and he did have a relationship with Harvey Weinstein in the 90s. And there's so many people trying to run cover for some man that don't know you, don't want to protect you, don't do shit for you. A man who became a billionaire because he sold out to corporate America. And honestly, the way that he kind of moved, people wonder if he was a Fed. It wouldn't be the first time that it happened in the hip hop industry. Look at someone like Pras. So he was not looking out for the people when he told you, yes, let's do Barclays. This is going to be great. He was looking out for his pocket. Otherwise, people wouldn't have been displaced. Your heroes, as I've said before, are not to be celebrities or politicians. The heroes are supposed to be the people that are in your community, your mom, your sister, your brother, your neighbor, the people who really doing the daily grind, not someone who made a lot of money by selling motherfuckers out. And I stand firm on that. We go on to see, and this is the part that is also rather interesting. We go on to see, and it was said back then, this interview, I remember covering this. Jaguar Wright, she went on to Piers Morgan's show, and everybody says, oh, they're like, she's crazy. She don't know what she's talking about, yada, yada. Okay. But as time goes by, you start to see some of these things she said are pretty true. After this interview, Piers Morgan had to make a statement that Jay-Z and Beyonce's lawyers contacted him and said it needed to be removed. And Rock Nation has moved that way before, where they have access to journalists, especially Black journalists, and they will contact them and tell them to take it down if it's something negative about Jay-Z. Listen to what she said.
Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter.
And look at what happened to all of them. Diddy's in jail. Weinstein went to jail. Epstein went to jail. Was either killed, died, alive. We don't really know. But they all went to jail. All of those people connected to Jay-Z. Everybody went to jail except for Jay-Z. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Put two and two together. We even go into this part here, which I also found interesting. If you look at this organization, United Justice Coalition, sounds good, right? Let's look at the advisory board. Let's see who's on this board. Watch, I'm gonna prove something to you. Watch this. Some of you may not know, but I'm gonna point out some people that I think you do know. Benjamin Crump is there. He's the one that represents a lot of the civil rights cases, police brutality cases. There's Michael Eric Dyson. He's there. Rock with me now. There is Charlemagne the God. Hold on to that one, that name. That's important. Let's keep going. Van Jones is there with his pro-Israel genocide ass. Let's keep going. There's Gayle King. So you got media, 1, 2, and Charlemagne, 1, 2, 3. You got media. Let's keep going. Going. This guy right here, Alex Spiro. Do you know who this is? Alex Spiro was Elon Musk's lawyer. Interesting, huh? Yeah. And when you get to the very bottom, there's Jay-Z. So let me ask you a question, folks. This organization, United Justice Coalition, I'm not here to knock the organization, but what I'm saying is when you look at the players that are part of this coalition, if something comes out against one of these people, do you think the United Coalition for Justice is going to say, okay, we need to get justice for the people that you are alleged of harming? No. They got the media with Van Jones and Gayle King. They got Jay-Z on there. They got Alex Spiro, who's Elon Musk's lawyer. They got Charlemagne the God. What did Charlemagne the God say about the Jay-Z info and the Epstein files? He quickly came to Jay-Z's defense, if I remember correctly. So what I'm saying is you have all this protection in one space. And you got some Zionists on there. It's hilarious that you have Zionists be a part of a coalition called the United Justice Coalition. There was a prediction. I don't know if anybody ever saw this woman. We'll get to her in just a second, actually. I want to show you what this girl said. Because Jay-Z has not made a statement.
Jay-Z, we need an explanation because this is not any random person out here hating on you. This is your previous business colleague writing Jeffrey Epstein in 2014 saying that you basically sold out the Black community. This is not Onika or all the people that you want to say are hating on you and saying whatever. This is Jess Saley writing Jeffrey Epstein in 2014 saying, you want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip Blacks and hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z.
This was during the height of the Colin Kaepernick. Remember Colin Kaepernick kneeling and all that kind of stuff when they were calling for people to boycott and everything. So let's just all remember again, that was Jess Staley, who is a banker who's in the Epstein files multiple times, but he's a banker. He was basically saying that Jay-Z was selling out his own people because Jay-Z was basically there as a distraction, whether it's through music or whatever, to prevent people from getting out into the streets.
Let me show you who Just Staley is. This is Just Staley. You know him. He's a banker. He's the former CEO at the Barclays. And let's look at your association with the Barclays, Jay. Jay-Z is deeply connected to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, having headlined its inaugural concert series in 2012. This man wrote that email in 2014. Opened it as a symbol of Brooklyn's revitalization because no one really protested the gentrification like they typically would, because Jay-Z's from Marcy, he's Brooklyn's own. So it was a very good selling point having Jay-Z be the face of this. Yep. And he even held a small ownership stake, around 0.5% to 1%, which he later sold, though his entrepreneurial spirit helped him bring the venue and the Nets to his home borough. This man said that you was a sellout, Jay-Z. Is there an activist group that was paid off to not protest or boycott this happening in Brooklyn?
Again, he is on the advisory board of the United Justice Coalition, but he didn't want to support that justice. So you see the problem?
Does anyone know that? Was there an activist group in Brooklyn that typically would protest against these type of efforts that for some reason did not do it in this situation, that was bought off? Just asking questions. We need a statement.
Yeah, and he's not issuing a statement. Also, remember, we mentioned Diddy earlier. When Diddy went to jail, Jay-Z had nothing to say. No statement, no nothing. Wasn't that his friend? If your friend went to jail, you have nothing to say. So, yeah, I have reasonable doubts that when people say, well, Jay-Z didn't know these people, no, that's not what the evidence is showing. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this woman
colleague writing Jeffrey Epstein in 2014, saying that you basically sold out the Black community.
Sorry.
This is not Onika or all the people that you want to say are hating on you and saying whatever.
Sorry, she came back. But anyway, this woman here, her name is Sloan Bella. She made this prediction. Listen to this.
We are in 2024. This is whatever month this is. This is March, the beginning of 2024. So we are headed for the next 3 years, 25, 26, and 27, with the beginning initial stages of the knockdown when it comes to Jay-Z. He is not next in line. He is second to next in line because he's still attached to a hierarchy which encompasses financial, political, and just basically public. So he's not absolutely going to be taken down yet. The next 3 years, yes, there are steps where if he doesn't fall into line, he is going to be shaken up. Now, what I do see 3 years from now, him, his wife, and his kid, I see them with suitcases, and I literally see them leaving. So their residence will no longer be in the United States.
Sounds similar to Russell Simmons, right? How he packed up and got out of here. She made that prediction a couple years ago. So it looks like Jay-Z's, I don't know, protection is starting to fall here. But the reality is, like I said, for the people who are saying he couldn't have possibly known Harvey Weinstein, yes, he did. So this is why I say you can't have idols, you can't have heroes. You got to get out of that mentality and look at things for what they really are. Now, does that mean that he actually did something to these people? We don't know. We don't know. But what was driving me crazy is that people were willing to seriously lie after they had receipts right in front of them and say, no, he never knew that man. You should have reasonable doubt. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.